commander of an army, the king of Syria, was a great man with his master in high favor, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. Now the Syrians, on one of their raids, had carried off a little girl to the land of Israel, and she worked in the service of Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "Would that my Lord were the prophet who is in Samaria. He would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went and told his Lord, "Thus and so spoke the girl from the land of Israel." And the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So I'm going to paraphrase this. So what's going on is that Naaman, he was a mighty man in the king's army, and he thought he was all of that. But he had a little secret. He had leprosy. And according to Levitical law, if you had leprosy, you were unclean everywhere you went. Now, I'm not sure if this is a time, because I didn't get to get in here and find that out, so that could be some study for you if he actually was under Levitical law. But the first 5 books in the Bible are under Levitical law, and so I'm not quite sure about that. But so he said, "Oh, the little slave girl, she was a slave girl in the house of Naaman." And can you think about what it's like being taken captive somewhere, or having to be somewhere that you really don't want to be? She wanted to be home with her family. She wanted to be home where she was comfortable, where she could do what she wanted to do. But she didn't complain, and she didn't gripe, and she didn't fuss and cuss and have an attitude. She went and she told her mistress, "Hey, there's a man down here, the prophet Elisha. And if you send Naaman to him, he's going to heal him. He can heal him of his leprosy." But see, sometimes we get so full of pride, we don't want to listen to what other people have to say because we think we know it all. We think we can slip out the doors and go do what we want to do, and just because nobody else sees it, we're okay. But no, integrity is what you do when nobody else is looking, because God is always looking. So when you have integrity, when nobody else is looking and you think nobody else sees, God sees. So when you're slipping around smoking that weed and you're slipping around doing those things you're not supposed to be doing, God knows that. God sees that. And what's done in the dark will be brought to light. And why I can tell you that is because I went to the penitentiary 3 times behind selling dope. I wanted the money, the cars. I had it all. I went down 3 times, spent 17 years of my life, barely been out 3 years, and I'm hitting every penitentiary in the state of Texas, going back because Jesus Christ saved my life. And he changed me from the inside out. And it wasn't an instant change, because people look at your outside, and if you're too skinny, they think you're too skinny. And if you're big and fluffy, well, she's too fat. But it's the inside that God looks at. He don't look on the outside. He don't look if you've got the perfect hairstyle, or if you're standing up here sweating because you just ran in and had a flat tire and you're in the kitchen trying to do something. He don't look at those things. He looks at the heart of man. He looks at the heart of man. And even he says, what is the heart? It's wicked above all things. Who can know it? Only God can know it. And only God can give you a new heart. So picture this in your mind. You're in the surgery room, and you're on the surgery table, and the doctor is working on you. And there's a donor over here laying on the table, and he's taking out a liver, and he's giving you a new liver. He's taking out a kidney, he's giving you a new kidney. He's taking out this man's heart, he's giving you a new heart. And then all of a sudden you realize that that's Jesus that's the doctor, but that's also Jesus that's the donor. He's giving you a new heart, a new mind. He's renewing your mind every day. When you stay in this word, he's renewing your mind. He's doing something on the inside. If you change the way you think, you can change the way you live. If you get out of the old junk, well, mama did it this way, granny did it this way, we didn't do it in my house, this can't be real, these people are crazy. Try it for yourself. I told God, if you're really real, I need to see the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because I'm tired of coming to this place. I had an old number, 60, 40, 36. That's old school. And my nickname was Kilo, so that tells you what I was pushing. So I don't live there no more. You got to stop letting people call you by old names, because You don't live there anymore. Stop letting them put jackets on you because you don't live there anymore. Stop letting them look down on you. Walk with your head up with pride because God is your deliverer. He's your vindicator. And we all, I'm a pastor. He's a pastor. Pastor's wife. We got blood on our hands, every single one of us. If pastor don't treat you right, he don't talk to you right, that's between him and God. This man prays for you guys, and he loves you guys, but he's got things going on. He's got his whole family living here. The whole family. Who does that? Nobody I know, but he did. His wife did. She goes to work every single day. That's given. That's given because they care. And do they get attitude sometimes? Yeah. Do I? Yeah. I've called my pastors cussing. When I get back to Temple, I'm going to beat the brakes off it. And I was on my way back, and I called her, and I said, Pastor Karen, I'm so sorry. She said, have you repented to God? I said, yeah, I repented. She said, okay, I'd be worried if you didn't. And so God changes us a little bit at a time. It's like an onion. He peels off layer after layer after layer because we've been through traumas in our life. And it's just like Mephibosheth. David loved Jonathan, Saul's son, so much, he promised him that there will always be somebody sitting at the king's table from Saul's lineage. And so he asked one day, is there anybody in Saul's lineage that can, there's a place at the king's table? And he said, yeah, but he lives outside the city because he's crippled. His nurse dropped him when they had to run, and he's crippled and he can't get to the king's table. He said, go get him. We have to go get our brothers and our sisters because sometimes things in life have crippled them. They got hurts and traumas, and they can't get to the king's table. But when you're at the king's table, the food is plenty, your needs are met, and your legs are under the table, so nobody even knows you're crippled. But there's a place at the king's table for each and every one of us. But we got to step up and take that place. We got to be the peacemakers. If you can't love each other in here, how can you say I want a ministry and go out there and love the people, but you're bickering and fighting among your brothers and sisters in here? How can you do that? So back to Naaman. Naaman gets all his boys, and he's the big man. He was a little bit short man. He had leprosy. He gets his boys together. They get on their horses, and they ride on down to the prophet Elijah's house. And the prophet don't come out to greet him. He didn't roll out the red carpet. So he was mad. But Elijah said, tell Naaman to go down to the Jordan and dip 7 times. God's going to tell you to do some crazy things because that was the dirtiest, nastiest river. He said, well, can I go down here? No, the prophet said you have to go to the Jordan. I'm not going to the Jordan. It's dirty. Well, I hate to tell you, but sometimes you're going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to get your hands dirty. There's people that's going to show up this door sick and throwing up. I've been at the toilet with people holding their hair out of the toilet, throwing up, and then coming out the other end, going through DTs. Sometimes you got to get in the gutter. I've been in the gutter before. I've sat in the dope house, no lights on, no running water. And until all my dope was gone and the money was gone, I didn't leave. So if you can sit in the dope house, or you think you want to get out there and sling dope and ride a fancy car and all that stuff, only thing's waiting for you is prison or death. These streets are paved with people that are dead. Amen. People died on these streets. They're killing for less than nothing. A t-shirt, your car, the car may not even have rims on it. They're killing you. The rims were probably worth more than the hoopty you bought. And they're killing you for it. So Naaman goes on down there and he's mad. And he's telling his servant guy, he said, I'm not going to the River Jordan. I'm not getting in there. And his servant guy said, man, I know this prophet. If you go, you can be healed. And so he said, okay, I'm going. I'm going to go. And so he gets in. And he dips. And he comes back up. Nothing's changed. And he's probably thinking, oh, I'm crazy for getting in this filthy river. I'm crazy for opening this home and my family sacrificed. I'm crazy for doing this, but I got a passion for it. So he dipped again, and he dipped again. Why am I working and working and working, and I'm not seeing nothing but ungratefulness? And he dipped again, and he dipped again. And when he come up the 7th time, it didn't say he had new skin. It didn't say he was healed. It said he had the skin of a baby. He got brand new baby flesh. and his disease was taken away. God's going to tell you to do some real crazy things, and you're going to think you've lost your mind. He's given me words, and I have words for several of you guys in here. You're not going to like them because you've been doing things and you've been slipping off. Some of you hadn't even been slipping off. You've been doing them right here on the property. Don't you know that the Holy Ghost is the biggest snitch in the world? And if you sit down with me, you're really going to get it because I'm a prophet, and sometimes the words aren't good. Sometimes the words aren't good, and most of the time they're not. I like to teach and preach and give good, uplifting messages, and this is uplifting, and it's good if you receive it in the heart that I'm giving it in. I'm giving it out of love. Amen. So that you can change your life. And you got people that don't even believe there's a God. And I was locked up with Muslims, and they believe there's a God, but they don't believe he's our God. They believe Jesus was a good prophet, but that's all he was. I don't argue the word with people. Here's my thing. If you drop dead today and you just died and there was nothing, you didn't lose anything. But if you took the chance that there was really a God, there really is a God, and you drop dead today, you bust heaven wide open. So why not give him a chance? We've tried everything else. Why don't you just get in the water? Just get in. It's not going to feel good. When you prune a tree, it don't feel good because they skin it back too. It's raw. It's nothing left. And for some of us, some of the men aren't even sitting in these seats. They're being stripped and they don't like it because it don't feel good. It hurts. And when somebody starts talking about it, it's poking that old wound. But God's trying to let it come out. He festers it up. And when we keep stuffing it back in, it's like a boil until it just explodes. So when you get an order, you don't have to ask if that's from God. That's up to this man and God. If he's wrong, guess what? He's wrong. He's going to have to answer for it. When you're a teacher, preacher, pastor, prophet, all those things, you're held to a higher standard. This man's held to a higher standard. Your blood's on his hands. Your blood's on his hands. His wife's blood, if he don't lead her, is on his hands. And he'll stand before God. But why didn't you tell him? Why didn't you tell him, Pastor? Why didn't you let him in, Pastor? Why didn't you give him another chance, Pastor? The blood is on his hands. So it's not up to you. When he tells you to do something, humble yourself. Just do it. Just do it as unto God. If you don't trust him, trust God in him. He hadn't done this all these years for nothing. He's been to the same place I've been. And we just talked about it today on the phone. When they say the inspectors are coming in the penitentiary, boy, you get that thing shined up, clean. They work you to death. And when them inspectors leave, guess what? All them water coolers filled with ice, they go too. All that extra stuff that you get, all that's gone too, because they were just doing it. Anybody can put on a happy face. Anybody can make the outside look real good. But if you're nasty on the inside, it don't matter how beautiful or fine or whatever you want to call it you are, you're ugly. You're ugly inside. You're ugly on the inside, so it makes you ugly on the outside. Let somebody talk to somebody long enough and you'll see what's really in their heart. I can talk to you for 5 minutes all day long about God. But when I go home, I can just throw a tantrum and cuss and fuss and do all those things because nobody's looking, right? Yeah, somebody's looking. God's looking. It's integrity. When I go in those prisons without Pastor Karen, I'm her ambassador. I represent her. I'm not going to do anything that Pastor Karen wouldn't do. You guys need to know this man and this woman enough to know that when you're out there in the streets and you're in them churches, that you are representing them and God. And you don't act up and do crazy things because you're representing this ministry. You're representing New Image Ministry. So when people start giving into this ministry, they want to see lives that have been changed. They don't want to see the same old thing. They can walk up and down these streets and see the same old thing. I got lost and somebody was flagging me down trying to sell me some dope. I don't live there no more. I never lived there. I was selling it to you, and I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. It didn't get me anything. All those people that were supposed to be down for me, guess how many were down for me? None. Mom. So Mama died while I was in prison. None of them were down for me. But I can tell you this. If you just trust God, he'll open up doors that no man can open. And he'll close doors that no man can open back up. Because I've been out for almost 3 years. I've been preaching in the prison since I've been out 4 months. Nobody does that. I wasn't even approved. And for 18 months, I was preaching and teaching in the prisons. And they called me one day and said, you need to go and take another training. You haven't even been approved. And so the training was on Saturday. I said, oh my God, I'm going to have to miss prison. I never thought I'd want to see prison again or wear white again ever. And so I went and took that training, and it was on a Saturday. And I walked in, and I thought it was going to be a long time, and I seen Chaplain Hunter. And he was my old chaplain on hobby when I used to act bad. I used to act real bad, so I know how it feels. I was in one building, and I didn't care if it was the officers or the inmates. I was a fighter. My mama raised us, if one of y'all fight, y'all better all come home messed up. You better not let the other one fight. So I told God, if you change me, I'll live for you. Y'all, he rolled me like Seabiscuit. Every time I started to open my mouth, and it was not even my business, he'd tell me, shut up. That don't got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And because I had been molested by a cousin of mine that would come from California when I was a little girl, I couldn't stand the homosexuals. Could not stand them. Guess what I had to minister to? The homosexuals. And guess what? Now I love them. Amen. I love them. And everybody wants to go to prison and talk about the homosexuals, but they don't want to talk about the liars and the cheaters and the people stealing out of the kitchen, the overeaters, all this. They don't want to talk about them. All they want to harp on is the homosexual. At least they put it all out there for the world to see. We try to hide it. We try to hide it. When the walls of Jericho fell, Rahab was a prostitute. She had her red ribbon in the window. And so when they were marching around the walls of Jericho, because she hid the spies, they told her, your house and your family won't be touched. Get your family in here. So they knew that red ribbon was signifying that a prostitute lived there. And so those walls didn't crumble. They fell into the ground whole. Her house was left standing. And she told them, I'm going to make your God my God, and your people my people. So when you don't keep secrets, she didn't have to go to those people and hear Satan whisper if they knew what you really were. If they knew you really did this, and John was at your house at 2 and Tim was there at 1, they wouldn't accept you because when they marched around the walls, they already knew what she was. But they marched anyway. They marched anyway. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep marching. We have to keep getting in that water. And we have to keep getting in the gutters. Because a pulpit will never be my ministry. I'm gutter. I'm gutter for God. That's why my ministry is grind. Because when I asked God, what's the name of my ministry? He said, grind. I said, grind. People used to ask me back in the day, what you going to do down? Grind. Let's get on my grind. I'm going to get it. Come back with it. And I said, grind? Are you grinding? He said, yeah. Gracefully restored into new destinies. Because now I grind for Jesus, and I grind hard. I get out there and get them and come back with them. And in the prison, I let them have it. I'm going easy because I know it's being recorded. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my word for you. Is just honor your pastors, and if you see them doing something wrong, they're just humans too. Everybody has flaws. Everybody messes up. But we're all supposed to hold a higher standard. And a standard means banner. And the banner over us is love. But what the banner is when they separated the children of Israel, there were so many when Moses led them out of the desert that you didn't know where to go. So they had to hold up flags so you knew where to go. So you knew where the banner was. Safety. A hospital. This place is a refuge. It's a hospital. It's for the broken. It's for the sick. It's for them to come in here and get well. But you can't get well if you don't get this word in you. If you don't put this in you, you can't pull nothing out. It's like going to the ATM and trying to get $2,000. Well, I'm sorry. If you didn't put it in, you ain't getting nothing out. He'll give you some mercy and grace, but then he wants you to grow up. He'll let you suck on that teat for a little while, but then he's going to start weaning you off of it because now you're ready for more. And you need to step up and get that more. Because some of you are too scared to give the words that God put in your heart for people because you don't know how they'll receive you. But give those words anyway. Give those words anyway. And stop sneaking around and thinking you're getting away with stuff because you're not getting away with anything because God sees everything. God sees it all. It don't matter if it's the pastor, his wife, his kids. God sees everything. It's about your integrity and what you have. And a lot of people don't think about that little slave girl. If I was taken from where I was living with my family comfortable, I wouldn't want to be there. But she didn't complain and she didn't gripe. She just went on doing what she had to do because she didn't do it for them. She did it because she knew Jehovah Rapha. She knew her healer. She knew Jehovah Jireh, her provider. She knew Jehovah Nisi, her banner. She knew that God would restore everything, like Joel says, that the locust and the cankerworm and eat. All the years that you lost and everything that you lost, God will restore it. But He'll restore it even better. Even better. All that stuff that you think that you want, it's just passing. It's like a vapor, and it's gone. Because, I used to love rap music and screw. I wasn't banging nothing but rap and screw, and it took me a long time to get off that. Because UGK was my stuff, baby. I flipped down the alley and we looking time. But you know what? That's not what it's about anymore. It's about cleaning up the inside and being something respectable that people can look at and say, you know what? Man, I remember when that dude used to really be messed up. Or I remember, man, I was in prison with that girl. We got a man here, Mr. Perez. When I drove up here one day, I told him, I said, I know you, but I don't know where I know you from. He said, I know you too. And we didn't figure that out till last night at church. From prison. He was an officer at one of the units I was on. He said, oh my God, you was that one carrying the Bible all the time. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what keeps me free now. What you did to keep you free while you were in your bondage, you got to keep doing it to keep you free now. Because what worked yesterday may not work today. Those devils and spirits that you face today may be stronger. And then we get all cleaned up inside, and we got Jesus inside of us, and then we slip up again, and guess what? They come back 7 times. They bring their homeboys. They set up church. They set up house, and they sit back just waiting on you to find that joint, to find that 40, to do whatever. They're just sitting back waiting. They'll sit in church with you right beside you. They don't mind you praising God. They don't mind you praising God because they know you just filling up a chair. You ain't doing nothing else. You ain't out there trying to do nothing. You ain't out there saving souls. You just filling up space. You just filling up space. So when God tells you to get in, don't worry about what man says. Don't worry about what anybody else says. You just get in because God is the final authority, not man. Just like Pastor John said last night. It's not what man thinks about you, because who cares? Yeah, of course, I would like them to like me, but guess what? They're not all going to like you. And they're going to, once you start trying to come up, and once you do come up, they're like crabs. They're trying to pull you back down. That's why I said last night, you got to just shake them off and keep on stepping. What's the word say? Dust your feet off and keep on going. There's people that I love, and I love to my heart, but I couldn't go back home. Because home wasn't a good place for me to go to. I had to make up my mind that, you know what? I'm not going home. I'm going to a place called Belton, Texas. I've never been here in my life. And I've been everywhere. Trust me, everywhere. Selling dope. I've never been to Belton, Texas. Been through here. Going to Louisiana, going to other places, but I've never been to Belton. But I sat under my pastor's feet, and I learned from them. And they teach me, and they train me. And they let me know what's right and what's wrong. And if I'm slipping up, they'll nail my butt to the wall. I promise you. They don't got no slack. None. Zero tolerance. Pastor John don't play. Pastor Karen will love on you, but she don't play either. Especially when you're representing her. And she's been, 8 years she kept coming to that prison. And I'd sit back and I'd wait for the day that she wouldn't come and she wouldn't show up. And if she couldn't come, she'd say, tell Loretta I'll be back Tuesday. Tell Loretta I'll be back Tuesday. And guess what? It's 12 years now and she's still back. She's still here. She's still lifting me up when I fall. She's still holding my hand when I cry. And she's still right there pouring the word of God into me and trusting me to take her Bible college all over the state of Texas, to men's prisons, women's prisons. She trusts me because I've shown myself trustable. Amen. I've showed myself. I've proved myself. And I didn't prove myself to her. I proved myself to God. And in proving myself to God, she's seen that. She's seen that. She can give me a whole stack of papers to grade, the college papers. And I can flip through them and grade every single one of them. It don't matter if it's an NIV, New King James Version. I can go through there and grade them because I took all those classes. And I know what it says, and I know where it's at. Because when I ask Pastor, what's God's phone number? I need your phone number. Call me. I'm going to answer. We don't have a party line. We got a straight line to heaven. And he hears our cries, even before we mumble a word. When David was going
into a fight. And he took his boys with him. And all of a sudden, a big, huge angel came. And his boys, what they do? They run and hid in the bushes. They wasn't there for him. But he still stood. And the angel, what did he say? He said, I heard you before you even mumbled a word. I heard you. But I was doing battle for you with the Prince of Persia. How many of you know that sometimes you got to do battle? You don't got to do it. God fights for you. You just got to stand. The word says stand and stand therefore. You got to stand till you get what you came for. And everything that glitters is not gold. Everything that glitters is not gold. You just do what you got to do here. God's got something bigger and better. You won't be the lender. You won't be the borrower anymore. You'll be the giver. You'll be the person giving out of what God's given to you. He'll give you that new house. It's already there. But you have to see it. You got to have the vision. I got to see myself at a better job. I got to see myself restored back to my family. I got to see myself not sneaking around doing things that, yeah, I see you laughing back there, thinking nobody sees. You got to have integrity. You got to have integrity because God sees. And guess what happens? It prolongs. 14-day trip took 40 years. My trip took longer than that. I went around and around and around because I thought them streets was calling my name. There ain't nothing that I got to go back for because I don't live there anymore. I didn't leave anything I need to go back for. Not a man, not a car, not a house, not nothing. And if my family ain't acting right, guess what? You can go too. I don't want you to. I love you. But you know what? If you're going to be a hindrance to me, I'm cutting you out of my life because I want to see souls saved. I want to see souls saved. I don't want to break people down and tear them down with my mouth. Because what you speak, whether it's positive or negative, it's going to happen. What you speak today shapes your tomorrow. If everything you ask God for and thank Him for today you had tomorrow, could you see? You got good kidneys? Do you got a good heart that's beating right and functioning right? Are you in your right mind? Are you in your right state of mind? Because God, I thank you that your word says I have a renewed mind and I can renew my mind daily with the word of God. Are you putting the word of God inside your heart? Are you just here, filling up a chair? Are you just here? Because this is the time in your life when you get filled up and God starts molding you and shaping you and making you a different person. But you keep jumping off the potter's wheel and jumping back on and you look like this misshaped vase because then he has to start all over and he has to start dealing with them old things that jump back in you. Because when you clean the house and sweep it, like I said, he brings it, and you mess up, he brings his buddies with him. You not ever, let me tell you, and repeat that, you won't ever get that first high. Because that's what the devil does. He keeps you chasing it and chasing it and chasing it till you don't have any money left. I've watched people bring me false teeth that was solid gold and try to sell them to me for dope. I watched them bring me all kinds of stuff and try to sell it to me. And I'm not bragging because I'm ashamed of that. But I'm not that person anymore. Amen. I can say just like Paul, I've harmed no man. And Paul said that because he wasn't Saul anymore. He didn't live there anymore. He knew he was a new creation. Old things were passed away and all things were new again. So I've harmed no man because I don't live there anymore. And when people call me by my old name, that's not who I am. My name's Loretta. If you can't call me Loretta, don't call me at all. I'm just fine with that. So just when God tells you to do something, jump in. Pastor said, what's the name of your message today? I said, well, I don't know. And I said, just jump in because it's going to be dirty. It's going to be ugly. You ain't going to like it. But the prophet said, go down to the Jordan. Because what you're going to get out of the Jordan, you can't get out of Damascus. What you're going to get in this place, you're not going to get out of that place. Amen. Even though you don't like what's going on. You're not going to get it somewhere else because God called you here. I had a job opportunity to go to Mississippi and make $27 an hour as a Christian counselor. God didn't call me to Mississippi. God called me to Belton, Texas. And guess where I stayed? At Belton, Texas, without a job, without an income, looking to Jehovah Jireh, my God that provides. And Yahweh Jireh, my God that provides ahead of time. Before I even know I need it, He's already provided it. And not only has He provided it, He's gave me enough that I can give to other people too. I'm pouring out of the abundance of what God's given me. I'm not living on a poverty mentality. That's our problem now. The slaves were free. They signed the Emancipation Proclamation. In Texas, they didn't even know they were free. But because that's what they were used to, they stayed. They didn't even know they were free. Jesus Christ hung on that cross 2,000 years ago, and there's still people that don't know they're free. We're free. When he said it was finished, it's finished. When he descended into heaven, he sat down at the right hand of the Father. He said, it's finished. Everybody prays for peace, but before he went, he said, peace I leave you. You got to walk in it. It's here. It's everywhere. It's in this room. His anointing is in this room. You just got to walk in that anointing and know how to get in your secret place and say, God, I need you. Because you know what? I don't like what I see. I don't like what's going on around me, but I'm going to choose to serve you. I'm going to choose to serve you. I'm going to serve the ones that aren't lovely and that treat me bad and talk about me. Amen. I'm still going to love them, and I'm still going to serve them. Amen. And I'm still going to give them the words that God's called you to give them. He's called you to be a prophet and a teacher. You got to step up with boldness and do that, because that's what God called you for. All the stuff that you've been through, it wasn't for your mess. It was for his message. Stop living in your mess. You don't live there no more, ma'am. I don't even know you. You don't live there no more. You're a walking message now. Don't let people put stuff on you that don't belong to you. You don't carry that baggage anymore. You're free. God nailed it to the cross over 2,000 years ago. You're free. You're set free. Quit carrying that stuff around. Quit carrying it around, and you'll be so free. You'll be so free. So free. And that's all my message is. I just get in. When God tells you to do something, just do it. Just do it. Don't ask no questions. Just do it. If this man's wrong, the blood's on his hands. Right? Right, Pastor? The blood's on his hands. If he's got a funky attitude, guess what? He's human. But guess what? The blood's still on his hands. If he's not man enough to come say, you know what? I was wrong. Guess what? Blood's on his hands. Same thing for Angel. You're running this place. But you got to set a higher standard. You got to set a higher standard. God's got a call on your life, but because you don't set a higher standard, he's held back some things. And until you start setting that higher standard and living up to what God told you to do and what the pastors entrusted you to do, you'll never move forward. You'll never move forward because he's told you to do some things and you still haven't done them. You've been procrastinating. You need to keep writing your book. You're an author. You need to keep writing your book. You don't know how, write it down. I told you, we'll figure it out. Just write it down. Don't miss a day. I don't care if it's a bad attitude or what it is. Write in that journal. Write in that journal. And this guy, you right here, trust God. Just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. What do you got to lose? You ain't got nothing to lose, right? No, you don't. There ain't nothing out there for you. What's out there for you that you hadn't already had? Nothing. But what Jesus is something that you need. And he's who's going to change your life. He's going to give you that nice car, that nice house, that family, that wife. He's going to give you that. He's going to give you that. He's going to give all of you that. And you, Sneak Dan, we're going to talk after service. Yeah, I told you last night, didn't I? Yeah, okay. This ain't for everybody, but yeah, Sneaky Dan. You ain't going to be Sneaky Dan no more after I do this, okay? You're going to start getting that word and putting it in your heart. And hold your head up. You don't have to hold your head down. Why you hold your head down? I told you that last night. You don't have to fit in. God didn't call you to fit in. He called you to be a prophet to the nations. Huh? How can you do that if you don't open your mouth? You can open it to smoke that joint. You can open it to roll that bowl. You can open it to do other things. Why don't you open it and use it for God? Speak life, not death. Watch God change your life. I never in a million years thought I'd be talking about my molestation. I thought, man, I got this college degree. I'm going to get up there and I'm going to talk about the good stuff. People hate me when I leave most of the time. And I told you I was taking it easy. But in the prison, I don't let them get away with nothing. Nothing. And they know when I come, they better act right because I'm going to get them. And they know it. And it's not me, it's God. I did not want to get up here today and say the things I said. I even called Pastor. I said, Pastor, they may hate me when I leave. You may hate me when I leave. But it's not me, it's God. It's God. And he's been calling you for a long time. You just didn't know it was God. You just didn't know it was God because every time you went to do something wrong, he said, don't do that. Who do you think that was? Do you think it was you? No, because you wanted it, right? That was God telling you, don't do that. That's the law of conscience that Pastor John was talking about last night. That we have a law of conscience even if we don't know God. We call it conscience, but you know what I call it? The Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, because He called you. The deep searches the deep, and you got this yearning inside of you, but you're empty inside. And until you get Him, you never even knew you was empty. You thought you had it all together. But then when you get Him, and you get that high, you don't ever chase another high, because His high gets better and better and better. It don't get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And people dying because they put fentanyl in it. They lacing it with all these things. Satan's just got an imitation. Y'all are a designer original. Every single one of y'all here, you're not an imitation nothing. You're not a Dooney bird. You're not any of those things. You got God stamped on you. And we're shaped in His image. And I told Pastor Don, if I'm shaped in His image, then I know God's fluffy. I'm all right. If I'm shaped in God's image, I'm fluffy. He's fluffy. We're going to get along real good. Amen. So you guys, get what you can get from here. Because there's things here you can get. Pastor, get what you can get from these men. Get what you can get from these men, because these men got things to offer you too, Pastor's wife. They got things to offer you. They want to speak into your life too. And some of them are afraid to, but you got to do it with love, not with hatred or attitude. Speak into their life. Hold them up. You want to see this place prosper? Get in unity, because the Tower of Babel, they were trying to build a tower to reach heaven. And God said, get down there, because they're in unity. They were doing something bad. They're in unity, but they can accomplish what they're going to do if they're in unity. So if you guys are in unity and love here, imagine what you can accomplish. This chapel wouldn't be a little bitty chapel. This chapel would be a big old church. And Pastor would have a big old church, and y'all would have a big ER room, emergency room, because that's what this is. When people come on that door and they knock, take them in. Take them in. Do surgery on them. Help them. Help them. Because this is an ER. This is a sanctuary. This is what your banner over this place is New Image Ministry. And you got to represent that. If I'm a new image, then I need to come to this door all jacked up. And when I walk out of this door, I need to be a new image. But that's not just on their part. You got to do your part too. Y'all got to work together. You can't be separated, because the Bible says a house divided won't stand. A house divided won't stand. So wait on God, and when He tells you to jump in those ugly, nasty places, jump in. Jump in with joy, because He loved David. He said he has a good spirit, a good spirit. And David, he done some jacked up stuff, but God loved him. God loved him. David was such a worshiper. He worshipped Him one time till all his clothes was gone. Now, don't y'all do that. You might get locked up, but be a worshiper. Be a worshiper. And when you talk to God, I don't know your name. Fabian. When you talk to Him and you give Him that chance today, wait for you to hear back. Because that same don't do it, you're going to hear it again, but it's going to be different. Wait for Him to start talking to you. Don't hang up the phone. Talk to Him and ask Him into your heart. And then just lay there and listen and see what He has to say to you. Because you hadn't done anything. And nobody in this room has done anything so bad that God won't reach down and get you and change you and fix you and change your life and restore everything that you lost. I said that second time, so He'll restore it all. He'll restore everything to you. Everything. Find out what your root causes are. What sets you off. What sets you off? If it's abandonment, deal with it. To the root, all the way to the root. Let God tear it out. I talked about pruning and how it hurts. It strips you raw. It strips all the bark off the tree. So what? The fruit can be bigger. It can be sweeter. It can be better. And it can be a huge harvest that other people can come pick from your tree. And you can pick from your tree and give to other people. Somebody told me that the other day. And that's true, because now you've got something to offer. Because now you've put the Word of God in and He's transformed your life. And you're not just this empty shell of a person walking around looking for you don't know what. Know who you are. The Bible says you're righteous. You're chosen. You're a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, the apple of His eye. He loves you. And when the prodigal son left, But what was the father doing? Everybody says how the prodigal son came back, but the father was waiting at the door and he was looking for him. Come back home. Come back home. Some of you are saying, let me come back home. Let me come back home. And God says, in a minute. In a minute. I'm going to let you come back home. But just in a minute, because I still got some things I need to do inside you. I need to, that double-edged sword to get down to the bone and the marrow. And I need to do that surgery so that when you go back home, you're not that same person anymore. And even before you go back home, they see a life that's been changed. They already see it. So just stand. And when God tells you to do things, man, do them. Do them because that's what's going to set you free. And free indeed. It's going to set you free. Quit worrying about what people think and what they say. You do what God's told you to do. And don't worry about the rest because He's got it. He's got it. He's got it all. Thank you. Thank y'all for letting me share.